Umayanatimirandasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitanjena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vande Shri Guru Gaurango Radha Govinda Sundaro Saguna Giyate Chata Gita Gurarta Gauravam. So we are on chapter 10, picking up at verse 12. We can all chant together. Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Param Dham Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Vibhum Ahustvam Mishaya Sarve Devashir Naradastata Asito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Bravishime Sarvam Meta Nitam Manye Yanmam Vadasi Keshava Nahi te Bhagavan Vyaktim Vidur Devana Danavaha Swayam Evatmanatmanam Vetatvam Purushottama Uta Bhavana Bhutesha Deva Deva Jagatpate Vaktamarhasya Sheshena Divya Yatma Vibhutayaha Yabir Vibhutir Lokam Imam Stambhapya Tishtasi. Dulal Prabhu, you look like you're ready. Do you want to read those translations for us? Verses 12 to 16.
Sure, Didi, thank you. Arjuna said, O Lord, you are the supreme Brahman, the supreme shelter and the supreme savior. All of the prominent sages, such as Devarshi, Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa, have described you as the self-manifest, eternal, supreme person, the fountainhead of all opulences and the root of all existence, from whose divine play everything emanates. And now you're hearing this to be the truth. O Keshava, I fully accept all that you have said. O Lord, indeed, neither demigods nor demons know your personality in full. O Supreme Person, Universal Father, Lord of all beings and God of gods, Lord of the universe, only you can know yourself, and by your own divine potency. Please describe to me in full your personal opulences by which you pervade all of these worlds.
Yeah, very nice. I don't think I have any comment here other than this first verse we read is very, very beautiful, very poetic, and very powerful, right? Padam Brahma, Padam Dham, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavam. This Padam, right? Supreme, great. So the divinity of the Lord, this aspect of the Lord is being emphasized in these verses. And this was the main theme, right, of this Chatur Shloki, these four principal verses which we went through, where Sri Krishna is being established as the supreme divinity. And so Arjuna is responding to that in this very prayerful, surrendered mood. And now he's also eager to hear more about the specific, power and potency, qualities of the Lord. So we can continue. Jayadev, are you available to chant some verses for us today? Maybe he's working.
Yeah, actually, for the moment, I'll be heading out soon. But let me find Shri Gita. I know she or he. I think Gita is a she, right? It's somewhere here.
So we're on 17 to 22. You can chant.
And we are on chapter. Sorry, I don't have my book in front of me. I'm getting ready
10.
for work, but I have it. 10. And you said, sorry, one more time the verse. Oh, I have my book.
From 17 to 22. You can chant.
Okay. Thanks for bearing with me.
Sure.
10:17. Katam vidyamaham yogins tvam sada parichintayan, right?
Yes.
keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintyo si bhagavan maya vistarernatmano yogam vibhutim cha janardana bhuyah kattaya taraptirhi shranvata nasti me mritam. Shri Bhagavan uvacha hantate kattayashyami divya hyatma vibhutayah pradhanyatah kuru shreshta nastyanto vistarastya me aham atma gurakesha sarvabhutashayastataha aham ajischa madhyam cha bhutanam anta eva cha adityanam aham vishnur jyotirsham bravirang shuman Marichir Marutamasmi Nakshatranam Aham Shashi. You say 21 or 22?
22, you can go.
Vedanam Samavedo Smi Devanam Asmi Vasavaha Indriyanam Manaschasmi Bhutanam Asmi Chetana. One more?
You want to read those?
Rudran. Oh, you were translations. That's what's going on here. Sorry. Okay. 17. O Lord of divine potency, how can I be constantly absorbed in thought of you? How can I know you? And in which forms should I think of you? I was just asking this question of the Lord today. O Janardana, please again describe in detail your opulences and the path of devotion for you, for I never tire of hearing your ambrosial words. The Supreme Lord said, O Arjuna, best of the Kurus, my glories are unlimited, so I shall tell you of my principal transcendental opulences, manifest in this world by my divine potency. O conqueror of sleep, I am the supersoul within the hearts of all beings, and I am their beginning, middle, and end. Of the 12 Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of the luminaries, I am the radiant sun. Of the Vayus, I am Marichi. Of stars, I am the moon. Did we do 22? Of the Vedas, I am Samaveda. Of the demigods, I am Indra. Of the senses, I am the mind. And I am the life of all that lives.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jaidev. Jaidev chants the verses in a very authentic manner. He's happy to hear his chanting.
I love to sing them in the morning just for vibes, just to, kind of go through a few of them just for kirtan in the morning. Nice.
So I appreciated Jaidev's comment. Oh, I was just asking the Lord this question this morning. This is
I forget,
question, right? Like, how can we become more Krishna conscious, right? Sorry, go ahead.
because in the morning I can remember and I'm praying, and then throughout the day I'm with clients and I kind of just forget and to get more into worries. And then when I remember in the morning, I'm not worried about life anymore. And it's so easy to forget. It really, like, it's a remembering and forgetting every day. So I was literally asking, Lord, please, can you stay in my mind? Can you help me remember you more throughout the day? Everything's good if we can just do that. Everything,
Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, I mean, this is the question, right? How can we, it's also mentioned, right? That injunction, always remember, never forget, right? And all of our practice and hearing, it is all for this purpose, to always remember and to never forget. And so then, and then I like how Krishna, I appreciate how Krishna says here, Arjuna is asking very sincerely, oh, please tell me, how can I remember you in my daily moments, and tell me about your glories and in detail. And Krishna just answers very matter of fact. And well, actually, my glories are unlimited. It won't be possible to go through all of them. No ego, no arrogance, just very matter of fact, So I'll just pull out some of the principal ones, And And then this section, it's very wonderful, right? Because in a very like simple way, Krishna's pointing out so many ordinary daily things that we come across every day, and you know, means by which we can remember him in these very simple ways. When you look, he's saying, you know, of luminaries, I am the sun. We look at the sun, we will think of Krishna. The senses, I am the mind. You know, how can we ever, you know, not be reminded of our mind, right? So it's a very you know, accessible way by which in our daily lives by which we can be reminded, you know. And then there's also coming up, I am the taste of water, right? Like I never that whenever I go to drink water, you know, I remember that, you know, that line. So it is a very wonderful, simple way by which we can remember the Lord in our daily lives. So we can continue unless anyone else has anything to add here. So Dulal Prabhu, do you want to chant these verses?
Okay.
23,
23
28. Go to these pages.
Rudranam Shankarashasmi Vetesho Yaksha Rakshamam Rakshasham Vashunam Pavakaschasmi Merushikarinam Aham Purudasham Chamukyamam Didi Partha Brishpatim Senaninam Aham Skanda Starsham Asmi Sagara Maharshinam Bhruguram Aham Giramasmi Aksharam Dhyananam Japajnano Shmistavaranam Himalaya Ashvata Sarva Vrikshanam Devarsinam Cha Narada Gandharvanam Chitraratha Siddhanam Kapila Muni Uchichai Ravasam Asvanam Didimam Amrito Bhavam Eratvatam Gajendranam Naranam Chanatipam Ayudanam Aham Vajram Denunam Asmi Kamaduk Rajanas Chasmi Kandarpa Sarpanam Asmi Vashuki. Verse 23. Of the 11 Rudras, I am Shankara. And of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am Kubera. Of the 8 Vasus, I am Agni, and of mountains, I am Sumeru. O Partha, you should know me as the chief of priests, Brihaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya, and of reservoirs, I am the ocean. Of great sages, I am Brigu. Of sound vibrations, I am Om. Of all sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names. And of the immovable, I am the Himalayas. I am the Ashvata among trees, Narada of godly sages, Chitrata of heavenly singers, and Kapila Muni of perfected beings. Among horses know me as Uchuchaishwava, who was born of nectar. Know me as Airavata among elephants, and king among men. Of weapons I am the thunderbolt, and of cows I am the heavenly desire-fulfilling cow. Of cupids I am the progenitor, and of one-headed venomous snakes I am Vasuki, the king of snakes.
Okay, very nice. So you know, these are all persons who and entities who are very well known, you know, within the Vedic world, but you know, are perhaps a little foreign. This is probably a list of just foreign names for some of our group here. But within the Vedic world, these are all very prominent personalities. Just a little note on pronunciation, perhaps is good for helpful for a few in our group. One thing is when you have an H with a dot under it, I think it's called a visarga, right? Is that right, Jaidev? It creates like an echo effect. So it'd be sagaraha. You add that the letter that precedes it, you pronounce it again afterwards. And then also like that vasuki, vasukihi. That's called visarga, Jayadev, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, you nailed it. And it's a shadow of the same preceding vowel. So ihi, oho, aha,
Mhm.
there's no e usually before, but yeah, et cetera, et cetera.
But generally,
Now,
it's pronounced
there
when
are
it's
some
the
funny
last
rules you
word.
can, like if
Fine.
it's before a P. Oh, sorry, never mind.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, then some people it alters before the consonant coming after it, like shantis, shantis, shantihi, or like before a P it becomes an F sound. But I
Mhm.
don't really do that. It's too confusing.
There are some points which get quite technical and pedantic, and I see they're not really used actually. Some
For
of the
example, dhyoyo naf prachodayat, it actually flows more easy than dhyoyo nah prachodayat. But actually, like I think older Vedic, they didn't do that. It's a type of later Vedic thing to simplify the pronunciation, or
Mhm.
post Vedic.
Right, right. And another thing which can get quite confusing is this yagya, this when you see a J and an N with the squiggle above the N, that actually is like a G-Y-A sound. So it's actually a gya. So yagya. Or gyan, that's another one where you commonly see the word gyan for knowledge. So it's a gya, G-Y-A sound. I see Dana's raising her hand. And also welcome, Lynn. We haven't had you for a few months. So good to see you with us again. Welcome.
I just had a quick question about the dot under the H in the echo effect. I heard somewhere that you only do that on the second and fourth lines if it's at the end. Is that true or not?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. But then Jay, Dave, and I were talking over each other a moment. Yes, that's right. I only hear it pronounced when it's at the end of the line. Otherwise, it doesn't really flow usually.
So if it's in the middle, then you don't do it. Like if it was in the middle of one of those lines, you don't do it. Is that right?
No, only when it's the last word on the line. Right?
Okay.
And again, that depends too. You can actually do a subtler pronunciation of it to fit it in the middle, but most people don't.
Mhm.
Thank you guys. Sorry for the silly
No,
question.
no, it's really great. It just kind of occurred to me that actually we could maybe take this opportunity to, we could all collectively improve our Sanskrit a little. And we are lucky to have Jayadev with us, who's something of an expert. What else? The R with the dot under it is a re sound, so that re-gore, that there's an inherent I there. So like
But it's not a long I. It's like almost more like an and it changes. It's like a short, very, very short, not really I. It's more of just touching the tongue to the roof of the mouth naturally, and it's actually a vowel. That's the craziest part. Even though it seems like a consonant,
Mhm.
it stands alone. Whereas ra in Rama, that R sound is actually not. It's connected with the vowel but actually has a little almost. It's almost a natural U sound before it. We tend to pronounce it like Krishna or Krishna, but it's actually Anyways, and that's the older pronunciation, more Vedic and biomechanic, I guess. Rather than ri, ri is a separate one where it'd have the R with a dot under it and a long I after it with a slash over. That's ri, but a little shorter.
And another helpful thing to remember is the S with a line above it or a dot under is always a sh sound. There is a fine distinction, but it's practically, I don't even know what the distinction is between the line.
So you have
Not,
5 positions in the mouth: guttural at the throat, palatal at the top, the back of the top palate, palatal more an inch behind the teeth, dental at the teeth, and labial. So the 2 S's, Sha is like Shiva or Shanti, is actually kind of produced by the tongue, like the air flowing over the tongue, over the top palate. The Sha with a dot is more obviously sha, like, and my mouth's doesn't have the best shape. Indian people can do it better. That's an inch behind the teeth. So like, what's it? Sheisha. There's actually two different S's. And then the sheisha, a little bit of hard work, but I think the most important part is the S of the slash. You do your natural, how you would do sha as a Westerner. And the one with a dot, you curl the tongue back to do it and touch the top of your mouth. And then you could do the two different ones. It doesn't really matter that often, but.
And another thing to complicate things even more is that if you want to pronounce like Bengalis, then everything changes. No, so like our Guru Dev's Sanskrit is mixed. Like if you hear him recite, sometimes he'll go more classic Sanskrit pronunciation, other times he'll go little Bengali side, you know. So Bengalis, everything is sha, like even just the hard S, it's a sha. And also this KS conjunct, this yaksha, they pronounce yakka. So that's another funny thing. So you can, I kind of go this way, that way, according to what mood I'm in. Okay, we can continue with our Bhagavad Gita. So we're going to verse 29. We'll go up to 34. Anantaschasmi naganam varuno yadasamaham pitrinam yamachasmi yamasamyamatamaham praladaschasmi daityanam kalakalayatamaham mriganam cha mrigendroham vainateyascha pakshinam pavana pavatam asmi ramashastra britamaham Jashanamakarashasmi shotasamasmi janavi sarganam vadirantascha madhyam chaiva hamarjuna adyatma vidya vidyanam vada pravadatamaham aksharanam makarosmi dvandva samasikasya cha aham evakshaya kalo dataham vishwadomukaha Mrityu sarva haraschaham udbhavascha bhavishyatam kirti shirvakchanadinam smritirmedajiti kshama. Maybe we can ask Marie, would you like to read those translations from 29 to 34?
Yeah, give me a minute to scroll back.
While you're scrolling, another little point I wanted to mention too, which can help with pronunciation is I don't think there's an example here, but going back. But when you see that one word ends with a consonant, then the next word begins with a vowel, you can run them together. I mean, I hear it done both ways. Do you know which is more correct, Jayadev? I think
There's
run it together, right?
yeah, so that's a later, again, these are all these classical period things where they made pronunciation easier. So bajami, aham, bajam yaham. You run them together. And you'll notice it flows, the verse, the mathematics of the verse flow perfectly when you run them together.
Let's look as an example, verse 25. Go back where we just were, that asmiyakam. Do you want to pronounce that first, Jayadev?
You did it already perfectly. Right.
Well, you do it more clearly.
Let's see. Maharashinam, there's our little palatal letters right there with the dot under. Braguraham, Giram asmyekam, that one you're saying?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Giram asmyekam aksharam. So that asmyekam becomes one word. The reason they break up the word is so we can cognize that those are two separate words. But in the Devanagari, it's actually one word, which can get kind of confusing for me. And I like the way that, out of consideration for us in our learning, they break up the word like that. But yeah, that's a really good one. Where is it? Asmyekam. It's actually two words, but they get merged. I guess that would be part of the whole Sandhya thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then also you can, that yajna smi, you can pronounce that little comma as like a glottal stop or a little break. So it can be yagnosmi or yagnosmi. It's
Wait,
actually, that's a
where are
visarga.
you looking now? Which verse?
Bottom of 25, yagnanan
Oh,
japa
okay.
yagnosmi.
Right.
So that comma up there is actually a hidden visarga.
Mm.
Yagnyasmi or yagnosmi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting. There's so many things, like I don't even know how to do this, but I kind of know because I've been doing working on these word for words and how they yeah, anyways. And the other thing I'll mention on the nya, it's weird. It can also be jna if that works better, that JN. I actually pronounce it to differentiate it between gya, which is GY, you'll see written. I actually say nya. So there's actually a g and a ya. Nya. It's like a combination of G and YA. And it's a little more complex, so you can tell the difference between gya and nya. So jnana. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
you can do that. There are so many different ways people pronounce that too. I've cross-referenced so many, it's kind of confusing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh, thank you so much, Jai Dave. Okay, so we'll go back to our translation. And
Yep.
read.
That's, oh, I forgot which we did 29 through what again?
34. I'm just following the pages, the layout. So the 2 pages there.
Okay. Of the multi-headed non-poisonous serpents, I am the Ananta Naga, and of aquatics, I am Varuna Deva. Of the deified ancestors, I am Aryama, and of ministers, I am Yamaraja, the Lord of Punishment. Of the Daityas, I am Pralada, and of subjugators, I am Time. Of animals, I am the lion, and of birds, I am Garuda. Of sanctifiers, I am the wind. Of weapon-wielding heroes, I am Lord Parashurama. Among fish, I am the shark, and of rivers, I am the Ganges. O Arjuna, of all that is manifest, I am the beginning, middle, and end. Of all wisdom, I am self-knowledge, and I am the philosophy of philosophers. Of the primary letters of the alphabet, I am the letter A, and of compound words, I am the dual. I alone am the endless flow of time, and of universal creators, I am the four-headed Lord Brahma. Of plunderers, I am all-devouring death, and of the predestined 6 transformations, I am birth, the foremost.
That 34.
Oh, and there's a little more of 34. Of the feminine qualities, I am fame, beauty, perfect speech, remembrance, intelligence, patience, and forgiveness, the 7 wives of Dharma.
Nice. Very nice. Just sorry, now we suddenly got into a pronunciation track. I'll just did, which I think is nice actually. We can all become a little more educated, including myself. So
Well,
this
verse 33 talks is talking about, I'm like, what is a dual of the compound words? I'm like, maybe that
yeah, it's
maybe
funny
it's time
'cause
for a Sanskrit lesson.
we've never done this before. We're just suddenly doing this today. We don't. Shravan, we don't normally do this the first time. No, I was just going to point out this Padasharam. When you see a line above the A, that's what we call a long A. So you put the emphasis. So that the Sha, Jaidev can tell you exactly which Sha. I can't do that. I give up on that stuff. But Padasharam, like that. And then the final A is optional, especially since we have the excuse of being part Bengali. Bengalis like to drop the A's at the end. So so yeah, Padasharam. So wow.
To further complicate, oh, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead, please, Jaidev.
So also something that most people do intuitively, but to further complicate things, there's this rhythmic thing with Sanskrit. I can't think of the word right now. So long vowels get 2 matra. So short vowels get 1 beat. It's like a rhythm. And long vowels get 2 beats. And now Sanskrit doesn't have an emphasis like Latin. It's not like Parashurama, but it has a time emphasis. What is the word? So Parashurama. So that is twice as long as all the other vowels. Another example would be like Lakshmi Devi. She's Rama. so that A is long, and of course I'm still emphasizing Rama. So the first A is longer in time, Rama or Rama. So and that also E, A, and O, when you see those get twice as long. And you'll find the word kind of flows a little better because it's the natural, like Bhagavan. So all of those are short until that Bhagavan. Radha, they're both long, that kind of thing. I don't know if that makes sense or if I'm complicating things.
There are some funny rules though, like Ramayan. You know, that's some funny rule. You pronounce it like that.
Because A is long, Ramayana.
Yeah, but I think isn't the first one also long A? No.
Oh, it might be. I'd have to see it. I don't really say that one that much.
There's some funny rule. I read about it recently. Yeah, and I didn't understand.
Ramayana. Yeah, Ramayana.
Anyhow, we won't you know, go too much into that.
For the record, I'm not the final arbiter. I've only learned all this for Kirtan. I'm not actually a Sanskrit scholar at all. We really have better ones that just aren't here. But I just know this stuff because of Kirtan. That's all I care about.
Beautiful, beautiful. No, it's very nice, you know. Actually, we are, you know, Srila Maharaj made this nice point once that we are trying to have a harmony of substance and form, right? You know, because there can be a tendency, especially for those of us in the line of Srila Maharaj, to hammer on the substance over everything else, right? And there was one occasion we hear some devotees were discussing publishing a new book, and they were saying, oh, who cares about what the cover looks like? The main thing is the content. And they were thinking Srila Maharaj would be pleased, right? Because Srila Maharaj, he you know, he emphasizes so much the importance of substance over everything else. He says, I'm a form breaker, not a form maker, right? And so they thought Srila Maharaj would appreciate this spirit. But Srila Maharaj said, actually, we are striving for the Vrindavan standard. And he explained, in Vrindavan, substance and form are one. You know, there isn't the lack of incongruity, right, that we experience in this world between the substance and the form. But in Vrindavan, in the spiritual realm, form is a pure expression of the substance, right? And so we are trying to carry out our service and engage in the distribution of Krishna consciousness with that type of you know, endeavor. So yes, it is very nice and it, you know, and also it gives some dignity, right, to what this is, you know? So as far as possible, we can try to make a nice and correct presentation, right? So wow, what beautiful verses here, and basically you just can't get away from Krishna. Everything's coming from him. Of philosophy, I am the philosophers. Of wisdom, I am self-knowledge. Of all that is manifest, I am the beginning, middle, and end. I think that covers just about everything, right? And I like that one. There's another one. I am the gambling of cheats, he says, and the glory of the glorious. Like, and this is why, like, people find reality and meaning and purpose in everything, because Krishna is behind everything, right? The only question is whether we want to connect with him in the mode of dedication and service to him, which will yield the greatest degree of fulfillment and meaning and purpose, or whether we simply want to experience his existence in a scattered way in the course of our random selfish activity, right? Because that's the thing, his power is behind everything. So we can feel deep purpose in everything that we go through in our lives and everything that we choose to do. And it's, you know, it really comes down to our own choice, right? What level of Krishna do you want, right? What experience you want? Level 1, level 2, level 3. You know, what experience of Krishna? Because it's all Krishna. You can say from one angle of vision, it's all Krishna. But you want the direct or the indirect, right? You want the fundamental flow, or you want to connect in this random, scattered way. No. But his potency, right? His power is there behind everything. And, people, they, in this world, there's so many things they connect with, and they feel, like this, I'm the victory of the victorious, right? Like, what power is in that? That's also coming from Krishna, right? And that's something that people, they will spend their whole lives for, right? To become the Olympic winner of such and such, or the Nobel Prize winner of such and such, right? That's such a moment of power, right? Victory, right? But that moment, that feeling, that intensity, that power, it's all coming from Krishna. Beauty, that is Krishna's power. That's why it's powerful, because it's coming from Krishna. And these are all ultimately just giving us hints, right? In this very scattered way, we're coming across, touching upon different hints. So what type of power and intensity will we experience when we join the main flow, right? Instead of experiencing in this scattered way, we join the main flow, we join the main story, and we see how everything's really fitting together, right? From the biggest perspective, from the greatest perspective. Okay. So just a few more verses. That maybe Jaidev, can we ask you to read those last verses, 35 to the end of the chapter?
Hare Krishna. Okay. Brihat samatata nam Gayatri Chandasamaham Masanam Marga Shiroshoham Ritunam Kusumakaraha Dyutam Chadayatamasmi Tejasvinamaham Jayosmi Vyavasayosmi Sattvam Sattvatamaham Brashinam Vasudevasmi Pandavanam Dhananjaya Muninam Apyaham Vyasah Kavinam Ushana Kavihi Danda Damayatamasmi Nitirasmi Jigitsatam Shatam Maunam Chaivasmi Guhyanam Jnanam Jnanavatamaham Yachapi Sarvabhutanam Vijantadahmarjuna Nattarasti Vinayat Syan Maya Bhutam Characharam Nanto Sti Mama Divyanam Vibhutinam Parantapa Resha Deshata Proktoho Vibhuter Vistaro Maya Yadyad Vibhutimat Sattvam Shrimad Urjitameva Va Tat Tadeva Vagaccha Tvam Mamate Joksha Sambhavam Tava Bahu Naitena Kim Jnatena Tavarjuna Vrishtabhyaham Idam Kritsnam Ekam Shena Stato Jagat Iti Shri Mahabharate Shata Sahasram Samhitayam Vayasikyam Bhishma Parvani Srimad Bhagavad Gita Supanishastu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Sambhade Vibhuti Yogo Nama Dashamo Dhyaya. I don't know how that part goes, by the way, melody-wise at all. And read the verses too?
Yes, please.
Okay. Of all mantras in the Sama Veda, I am the Brihat Sama, prayer to Lord Indra. And of metrical mantras, I am the holy Gayatri mantra. Of the months, I am the foremost, Agrahayana. And of the seasons, I am the flower-bearing spring. I am the gambling of cheats and the glory of the glorious. I am victory. I am perseverance, and I am the power of truth of the honest. Of the Yadavas, I am Vasudeva. Of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of sages, I am Vyasadeva. And of the knowers of the scriptures, I am Shukracharya. I am the punishment meted out by the enforcers of the law. I am the political wisdom of those desiring to conquer. I am the silence of all secrets. I am the wisdom of the wise. O Arjuna, whatever is considered the origin of all beings, I am that. Nothing, whether stationary or moving, can exist without me. O conqueror of the enemy, my divine glories have no end. I have given you but an indication of them. Know for certain that whatever is magnificent, beautiful, or glorious is born of but a fraction of my power. But, O Arjuna, what is the need of elaborating further on my opulences? I support this entire universe in my fractional expansion as the supersoul of material nature. End of chapter 10, the divine glories of the Lord, from the conversation of Shri Krishna and Arjuna in Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishad, the yoga scripture of transcendental knowledge, in Bhishma Parva of Sri Mahabharata, the holy scripture revealed by Srila Vyasadeva in 100,000 verses.
Jai. So we've completed chapter 10 now, and we were actually just remembering this verse 41 yesterday, I think it was. This verse is quoted often by our gurus, where Krishna is saying here and it's very helpful, especially when presenting something to newcomers to the teachings, that seeing how we can connect everything magnificent, beautiful, glorious, right? Krishna is the source of that. Whatever beauty and wonder we experience in this world, we can ultimately see it as something to remind us of the divine source from which it is coming. And this is how the true Vaishnavas are perceiving the environment, right? They're seeing everything in connection with its divine source. They're seeing everything as paraphernalia for the service of Krishna. Everything is ultimately coming from Krishna and for Krishna, by Krishna. This is the vision of them, of the great souls. And these verses are helping us, to cultivate that vision in our lives. And when Krishna began this description, he started out saying, "Oh, it's impossible, right, to give the deep details of my glories. I'll just give you some indication." And then he's concluding saying, "What is the need of elaborating further?" Like all of the wonder of this world, I'm supporting that with just one fraction of an expansion of myself. I'm just giving you some. We don't need to go on prolong this. Like, you can get the idea. Giving some hint. Oh, it's wonderful, these verses. I am the silence of all secrets. I am the wisdom of the wise. Everything is coming from him. He is the source of. Oh, I am the political wisdom of those desiring to conquer, the punishment meted out by the enforcers of the law. He is the source of all and everything. But then, another, to add to our comments before, we can say, there's, direct, indirect, and another helpful way to frame this is the personal and impersonal. Right. There's the impersonal way of connecting with the Lord. And all of these are describing, more impersonal ways by which we can remember the Lord and by which everything is connected to him. Right. And that's also helpful in our remembrance. Right. But that's not the end of the story for us, right? As it is for some. For some, that's the end of the story, right? That, God is the sunrise that I see in the morning. God is the chirping of the birds in the forest, right? That's where it ends for many people. But for us, that's a beginning, that's a link, and ultimately that's a helpful reminder, right? But ultimately, we're interested in that personal, loving relationship, rasa, relationship with the Lord. So that's another way in which we can frame these different ways of connecting with and remembering the Lord. Well, we have a few minutes left. Does anyone else want to share any thoughts on these verses? Radhana Rupini commented these were some of her favorite verses. And then now this next verse, Arjuna's curiosity has not been satiated. And he asks to see the universal form, which ends up to be something of a frightening experience. And he's, oh, Krishna, can we go back? We go back to that nice two-arm. Can you go back to being my friend, please? This is what is so wonderful, right? Like, and the contrast here is nice, right? That like this, because this the majesty of the Lord is being emphasized here, right? And then on the other side, right, there's Krishna who can be your friend, Krishna who can be your lover, Krishna who can be your child, Everything is available in connection with the Absolute, in connection with the Lord. However we want to dance with him, he will dance with us. I was reminded, as we were going through these verses, I was also reminded of this earlier verse in Bhagavad Gita, this ye yatamam prapadyante, tamstataiva bhajamyaham, mama vartmanuvartante. This where Krishna is saying, howsoever anyone approaches me, so I approach them. And ultimately everyone is following my path, right? Every path comes from me, right? I'm the political wisdom, right? Of the politicians. He is the source of, you can't get away from it. Even atheism comes from him. He's the OG of atheism, for goodness sake, right? He comes as Buddha. Like, you don't want to believe me? Okay, I will help you. So it comes down to our choice, right? What do you want? How do you want to dance with me? I will show you how. It's all, don't worry about the possibilities. There's no lack of possibilities. There are infinite possibilities. So what do you want in your inner heart? And there's this nice comment of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. I mentioned this a few days ago, that when we are surrendering to Krishna, we must approach him with our whole heart. And otherwise, if we surrender one part of ourselves, he will also respond in kind with one part of himself. We want to connect with an outer aspect of him, he will reciprocate with that outer aspect, right? Whatever we want to believe and perceive, he will respond in that way, right? So then it comes down to the need and sincerity of our heart, the purity of our inner quest and inner need for Krishna. How much, okay, you want Krishna, how much do you want Krishna? Right? In what way do you want Krishna? For what purpose do you want Krishna? There's no lack of Krishna. Well, it's been a wonderful meeting with all of you. And So it took us a few weeks to get through the chapter shloki. We've caught up now, finished the rest of the chapter in one sitting. So we'll pick up next week with the vision of the universal form. All right. Well, any final comments from anyone? Should we end there? And also we all want to welcome again Shravan, our new friend here. Very happy to have you join us, and you're always welcome. We meet I don't know what time it is in Austin right now, but we meet this time every week.
Yeah, I have this weird meetings being set up. Yeah, I've been dragged into it.
Sorry, what did you say? Oh, you have
I'm sorry.
meeting.
I had to put it on mute for a bit. Like a minute. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I get you that.
If you want to, I'll give you my email. If you want, you can if you want the contact for our community in Dripping Springs, you can email.
Sure. Yeah, let me get your mail. Yeah, I'll just make a note of that.
Yeah, I just put it in the chat. There's an email there.
Okay. Yeah, Dripping Springs is pretty near to me. Yeah, I can really join the group.